Hi Aquarius, how's everybody doing? Before we get into this, let's set the intention for this to be a space where everyone allows themselves to feel seen and validated, and ultimately for this to be a safe space and a healing space in alignment with everyone's highest good. So I'm looking at a situation, and you could have an experience, find yourself within a situation where you can either choose to respond in a way where you are like taking somebody and kind of putting yourself in their position rather than taking offense to something and just answering it from a grounded space, even as if you're explaining something possibly to a child, regardless of how old this person is. Because there may be something going on where, like, potentially the way that somebody's acting, or for some of you, even something that they're asking you, you may, like, immediately, maybe for a moment, take offense to this, and this is something where, like, your Mars energy gets kind of riled up, and you're like, let me tell them what it is, or whatever it is for you, however you normally respond. However, if you just take a breath and recognize that, like, rather than meeting an escalated energy with another escalated energy to kind of like de-escalate and diffuse a situation, you're gonna walk away feeling much happier about it. Because this can even be somebody just being salty about something or being in a mood, and you didn't really do anything and they kind of blow up at you, or you can just tell even energetically that something's going on. Like, rather than feeling like you need to engage or like assert yourself or be like, I didn't do anything, why are you treating me like that, whatever it is for you, you may actually choose to disengage for a situation and not even be like, you're in a bad mood, I'm leaving. It could just be something where you actually step back out of a situation without like needing to call somebody out, because that may escalate them further actually. That's not to say if you find yourself in a situation where something needs to be said that you don't say something. I think it's also important to say what needs to be said, but this is like, if you're not going to help this situation, it's important to recognize like where it's going to benefit a situation to say something or say what you need to say or defend yourself or speak your truth or whatever it is for you, versus when is it just your ego that wants to be like, hey, to that person, and like when do you need to back up from it and disengage. And that's the thing too, asking ourselves, like, before we participate in something or take action, is this action going to benefit me in this situation? Is it going to benefit the other people? Or is this something that is going to prove more of a detriment to myself and those involved? Got a lot to say, Aquarius. Yeah, I'm seeing it be like a lot centered around the throat chakra for you, but there's a sense of, I'm seeing the Queen of Swords being the theme. With the Queen of Swords, it's like you are both here to set boundaries and to communicate what needs to be said, and also at the same time it's also about being receptive and hearing other people and seeing other people and knowing that it's not always called for you to actually respond. It's not always called for you to say something. And learning to pick and choose that is going to prove extremely valuable to you, is what I'm hearing. This can all, for some of you, I'm getting that this is something that you're working on also. But yeah, it can be very, very difficult. Anything that like puffs up the ego in some way, where we feel like we need to step up and defend ourselves in some sort of way or whatever it can be, especially when we don't feel like we've been doing anything to like agitate another person. So when we feel like we didn't trigger another person and they're just acting a specific way towards us, a particular way that we don't enjoy, I think it can be very, very difficult to kind of like walk away or disengage. But sometimes that's exactly what the situation needs. Sometimes that's what that other person needs, to not rile them up further. I'm hearing too something about like somebody may even be trying to like prove a point by actually triggering you in some way. Triggers are a beautiful thing because they show you where you still have more work to do. Anything that triggers you, it's going to show you what you have a sensitivity towards and what still needs to be worked on. Ooh. We're starting off with the Page of Wands in the Tower. Speaking of Mars energy, I'm hearing the word insightful. How have everybody's dreams been lately? This past 3 weeks, I've been having the most insane dreams. Is this really a thing? I don't know if this part is a specific message because we're going to get further to talk about this, but what is coming to mind just off the bat is that there may be a surprise. I'm even hearing the word secret collaboration that's happening. It's like you could have started off doing something like all on your own. I'm also hearing the word lonesome, so maybe this was something where you were like, you know what, I'm going to go in this direction and it would be ideal for other people to be in my boat, but looking around, nobody else is here, so I'm going to have to figure out how to steer this thing. So you may have done something. Yeah, I'm hearing lonesome again, like by your lonesome, all alone. But I'm seeing like a lot that you've learned through this experience, and it's like now other people are coming into play. I'm hearing the word resort. I want to see how this is going to affect you and what you're doing. It looks like new people. Like, I'm even seeing you going into an environment where, like, your journey has taken you to a particular location upon the quest, whatever it is that you want to call it. And now it's like, oh, I didn't expect to meet anybody else here. I didn't know that you were coming too. I'm seeing this be new people that you have not worked with. It's like some surprise collaboration. I'm seeing this as like it's meant to be happening. Not that anything isn't meant to be happening, but this looks like something very deliberate. Interesting. I'm even seeing somebody traveling in one direction and there's like an avalanche and they're like, oh no, we have to go somewhere else. And because you went in that other direction, which it was like your guides in the universe pushing you somewhere else, you end up bumping into these people and you didn't know anybody else was on the trail. It may be a little bit of a risk to work with another person or other people, so you may be trying to figure out whether or not you want to be doing that. I'm hearing the word sheesh. For some of you, you're getting some type of return from somebody that you did not expect to hear from. For example, say you're an entrepreneur. You may have somebody... I'm also hearing contract work. You may have somebody coming through that you had not expected to hear from, and now you get to choose whether or not you want to work with them. It's like both something new with also somebody that you know. I'm hearing it's not who you think. I love that we're doing a mystery reading, Aquarius. So let's just stick with like the theme or the metaphor of you being like an entrepreneur or a contractor in some sort of way, and you can like suit that to your own needs. So you're the one that's in charge of like your business, okay? And this can mean business in so many different ways. It's like maybe your personal life, maybe an actual business, whatever it is. I'm seeing something that you take pride in and something that you want to do the right way. And now you have somebody returning and you're trying to figure out how to deal with this. Maybe even how to prioritize your business and like also balance this person from the past. This connection is also what I'm hearing. There's something even with like finances and something legally, but this can also be a soul contract as much as it can be an actual contract. I am seeing something that, even though this is like an older energy or an energy that you've already come into contact with, the way that it's coming back, it feels new in a sense. It feels like some sort of new chapter or new environment I'm even hearing. But there's something about this, it's like even if you're anticipating something that you're not expecting, you are still going to be surprised with the moon and also the tower here. So it almost feels like a moment of not even being able to anticipate something. Or just not expecting it to be the way that it is when it comes out. Or you imagined it being a particular way, and then when it manifests, when it unfolds, when it comes to fruition, it's completely different than you thought. Ooh, this reminds me of one of those moments, like, you know in the cartoons when someone finds a genie and they ask for a wish and like it may come out differently than the person thought. I'm seeing one of those moments where it's like you may have thought it was going to be one way and it's still in a way like in alignment. Like, you know how when you rub the genie, rub the container that the genie comes in, what is it? I don't know why I can't think of it right now. I guess it's because it's not important to this story. But, like, you ask for one thing, and then they still give you that thing that you asked for, but it's, like, different, you know? It's one of those situations, how this thing manifests. So, although, in a way, you could have been like, I know something's coming, like, whatever this is, it ends up being differently than you thought that it had been, or was going to be. So something happens almost serendipitously in relation to the path that you were going down. You also have the ability and the opportunity to be starting something that is unlike what you had been doing before, or to work with people that were unlike collaborations that you had been working with before. But this may be a little bit of a risk or a little bit of a chance, but it's almost like these very particular events lead you into this space where you find yourself. And then on the other hand, I'm seeing like something that you're still, I'm hearing resorting to, is something that you're still trying to figure out in relation to somebody from your past. and how it would be right to go forward within a situation. For some of you, this does feel like you're dealing with something financially with someone. If not financially, this can also be energetically. Like how much you're giving to your job, how much you're giving to this person. Like, are you trying to integrate them into your life? What's going on? And then I'm seeing behind the scenes, so like what has not been announced yet, or what is not commonly known yet, or what has not been revealed yet. I'm seeing somebody walking away from a situation. But what that situation is that this person is leaving, that's what the mystery is. That's what is unknown. But I'm seeing somebody come to a conclusion here. For those of you that have somebody from your past re-entering, I'm seeing the timing of this be unknown specifically. Even though the timing is unknown, whenever it happens, it is going to catch you off guard. That is like the only known right now is that it will catch you off guard, is what I'm seeing. And you have to figure out whether or not you're going to find what you want within that situation. Like, does that truly speak to you? Or do you just want it to and it's actually not? For some of you, it also looks like, so there could be somebody that you're collaborating with at work. For some of you, this can be like college, education, trade school, some sort of community, anything within the spiritual domain. Any like specialty also. It can also be a Libra, a Virgo, a Taurus that you'd be collaborating with, if that's not your chart. Pisces. There's a notion of wanting to get things off of the ground. I'm seeing something about a lemon here with the Fool. There's a notion of wanting to get something off of the ground, but you may be deliberating with like what the right way is to go with this situation. Like, is it worth taking a risk? Is it worth taking a chance? What's the right move here to make for you? For some of you, I'm even getting that you do something with like food, culinary, baking. I'm seeing like cakes specifically. I'm even seeing something be weighed and measured out. I'm hearing something about cookies now. To have the Fool be at the top of this spread, this looks like whether, like, you can create a divide right now, and you can actually walk away from something from the past. Like, whether this be, like, a memory, like somebody's ghost that you've been dancing with, or this is that actual person coming through. There's a notion of being able to create some sort of divide where, like, you are stepping into your present and your future. Because whatever this is that's been going on, it seems like something that you've still been giving your energy to and maybe entertaining in some way. But it's something that until you recognize, because you may not want to see something that needs to be seen because it's subconscious. So until you're ready, you're not going to see it. And it's about, I'm even getting the notion of the Devil card here. It's like trying to fill in these empty spaces with things that are lacking in substance. And so you're never going to feel fulfilled because you're using the wrong thing to try to fulfill you. And this can be like within a relationship, it can be within a job, it can be how you're making money, like whatever it is for you. It's like that feeling that you're looking for, that sense of satisfaction. It's something that's going to continue being unobtainable because you're looking in the wrong place. It's that notion of trying to fill up a tub with the stopper being open, so it just keeps draining out. This can even mean like trying to feel fulfilled through like any sort of activity, like spending money and stuff like that, or drugs, whatever it is. Let's keep going. There's so much food related stuff that's coming through in the reading. I'm getting like so many different recipes. Maybe some of you like to cook or bake in your pastime, or you do something for work. But I'm getting like a lot of food oriented things. That's also a way that people can try to like fill in holes in spaces by eating. Also through like relationships and stuff. But it's all stuff that if you were in alignment, you would be able to fulfill this for yourself. Well, you can fulfill it for yourself. It's that you would recognize it, that you don't need it from another person. And that's the same that goes for like love and all of that. You don't need another person. Your storyline is perfect without anybody else. So it's not like missing. It's already complete. I'm hearing it until you recognize that you're not going to find the right person. That's interesting. It's like until you recognize yourself as your other half, you're not able to like see that within another person. Not that anybody is your other half, but it's more so like until you recognize like what you are for yourself and that you are complete within yourself, there's not anybody that you're going to be able to connect with, that you are going to feel like the ideal sensations within a relationship with, because you're always going to be relying on outside sources to give you things that you're meant to be giving yourself. So until you feel a sense of completion within solitude, there's a sense of always having at least a tinge of codependency with anybody else you're with. And that can be friends too, and family. I'm getting something here about setting an example. Somebody else had these cards. I cannot remember who it was, though. Maybe it was Virgo. So I'm seeing you be in a place where you're learning more and more how to build your self-esteem and your confidence when it comes to embracing the energy of the Queen of Wands, which is somebody that is independent, somebody that is not going to compromise her morals and her boundaries for anybody else, somebody that's confidently making choices for themselves, somebody in touch with their creative and manifesting abilities. Somebody that definitely like pulls other people in, but not because they're trying to get other people in. It's just kind of like a byproduct of that. And somebody definitely sure in their standards. It's somebody that, like, if the right people aren't coming through, they're not going to compromise just for the sake of company. This is also about, I'm getting something here about money too. So it can be like if you don't want to compromise certain things for the sake of money, that like you do other things, like find a different job or change your perspective of the work that you're doing even. Because when we talk about like not feeling satisfied within a job, the answer isn't always like, yeah, leave, walk away from your job. A lot of the time it can be about changing your perspective of the work you're doing and being able to show up within a gracious energy rather than it being the job that's the problem. It's more so the perspective that's being addressed. So as you are furthering your development, especially when it comes to like sense of self, because I'm seeing a lot of focus on the individual here. It looks like you get information about something that you wanted to be connected with, and it looks like these are related to at least another person or other people. So it could be something where you're like, you know what, I'm going to just do this on my own. I'm going to worry about myself right now. And I'm going to stop messing around with things that are out of alignment for me. And in the meantime, it's like you're pulling energies in like a magnet. And I'm seeing like you catch wind or you catch news of something that now is like a good fit for you that you are going to connect with. In this first spread, I'm looking at Mars. I'm hearing something about Mars and the beach. Mars, Pisces, Taurus, Virgo, Uranus, Libra. Or water. The beach, water. And then in this other spread, I'm seeing is something that you're doing here. Remember, energies can be reversed. This can be you watching another person. But I'm seeing something about like you being on your grind, taking care of things. And I'm seeing somebody possibly at a distance. Somebody's observing you within the environment. I'm seeing an offer that this person is going to make. First, they recognize that they have feelings, but instead of coming through in a way where they're saying something about feelings, this is more so like feeling a sense of connectivity or being like intuitively, I feel like there's some sort of connection or something's going on there. And then this person comes through and makes the offer to you, but they wouldn't lead with how they're feeling. They would more so lead in like it would be more reserved than just being flat out or moving too fast or not reading the room. Because it's the energy of the Knight of Pentacles. So this is somebody that, like, they would probably want to be friends first, even though they know that they have feelings. This also doesn't have to be something romantic. This can be somebody wanting to connect with you. Here you are. This can be somebody wanting to connect with you, as like a business partnership even. Like, it looks like whatever your skills and abilities are, this person can also match your energy, where they can like complement you and they also want to bring you in. Definitely a complementary energy that I'm seeing here. if you've been keeping a really close eye on something, like, it feels like a waiting energy. It's the notion of watching paint dry. If there's something that you've been putting your full focus on that is not happening, you're being guided to let go of this. This can even be a concern with what other people are doing. For example, if you've been spending a lot of time watching tarot readings on other people, this can be something that you may be being guided to ease off on right now. Because there's something about, like, ingesting so much that it's, like, weighing you down. It's something about energetically even slowing your pace down. So it's like things that you're trying to manifest or cultivate within your life. It's like you have to drop this extra baggage, because I'm seeing like even something that you're consuming, and consuming does not need to be food. It can be energetically stuff that you're consuming. Something needs to be let go of. It's like it's too heavy for you to move forward. Yeah, it feels like even like using things of an esoteric nature in like possibly a way that is out of touch, or in an impulsive way. That makes sense. So I'm seeing one person being approached, and I'm seeing another person do the approaching, which would be like classic feminine masculine energy that is not related to gender if one identifies with a gender in particular. So we have the Queen of Wands being approached by the Knight of Swords. So this is somebody that wants to come in quickly and say something. They would perceive the Queen of Wands, which again can be anybody, in an energy where like the person being approached appears in an attractive energy. I'm also hearing something about light. It's someone that isn't walking around seeming like they need anybody else, but other people may approach this person. But they're not like asking for anybody to be approaching them. It's like they're just energies that are naturally gravitating towards them. And I'm seeing like somebody come through. Let's say this is you. Somebody coming through wanting to talk to you. They have something that they want to share, something they want to get off of their chest. I'm seeing somebody that has no issue communicating, maybe sometimes a little bit too much. It's about something that they want and a way that they're feeling towards you. But to have it be the Knight of Swords, this may be too much information. Like it may, I'm seeing even something where like the Queen of Wands can be a more sultry energy, and this person that's coming through may not have that element. They may be somebody that speaks more matter-of-factly, but they're not as like charming, we can say, as it would be if it were a fire suit. Just energetically speaking. And it's like, what this person is thinking about, what they have seen of you, is related a lot to your feminine energy, your nurturing abilities, you taking care of things, you holding things down. And it's like, by way of seeing this, there's something about them having developed feelings and trying to figure out what they want to say to you, what they want to even propose to you. For some of you, this is somebody looking at you and they're like, this person has all of the elements of what I would hope to find in another person, and I'm curious about them and I want to learn more about them, and like they want to come through and make an offer to you because of that, or like even invite you somewhere. But there's a sense of like, you may not be open to this energy until you heal something that needs to be healed, because you may feel very suspicious of this person based off of, like, for some of you, point blank, I'm seeing in the past you may have had a relationship with somebody that was in like a narcissistic energy, something like that, where like you may have given your heart to somebody and then felt like this person took advantage of you or whatever, or you were dealing with somebody that you saw to be in a very selfish energy, or they were unreliable, or they just looked out for themselves, whatever it is that you want to call it. We're just kind of summarizing the energy, because there's so many different things that it can be. It was an unpleasant experience that could have closed your heart chakra off and had you feel like, it's every man for himself here, I have to look out for myself, nobody's going to look out for me. So if you're still in that space, you may misinterpret this person's energy. And this feels like a shadow response. So it's like, rather than seeing this person for what it is and potentially even giving them the chance, you may actually write this off completely because you are projecting onto this person. I'm not saying that you guys would be a good match. It looks very much too soon to tell, but I'm not seeing them implicitly be like not a good match. So it could really go either way here. However, if you're projecting onto this person, they're like not even going to get a chance, is what I'm seeing. So it's like there's something that you specifically have to let go of in order for you to like overcome the obstacle or the challenge of having dealt with this person in the past. Otherwise, like, you are going to see those qualities in the people that are trying to interact with you. For some of you, you've already done this, and I'm seeing this be something that you've completed already, but not for everybody. Otherwise, this wouldn't be coming up. Based off of the information that you get, it may actually encourage you to let go of something that you've been holding on to. But for some of you, you're not going to have this experience if you don't let go of something that you need to let go of. And for some of you, it's about like keeping track of somebody from your past. Somebody that right now you don't have contact with, but that you've still been like watching them in some way. Whether it be you watching their social media or watching tarot readings on them or whatever it is, you maintaining some sort of energetic connection. But as soon as this release happens, which I'm getting that it would be more difficult to do than anything because it's something that has become some sort of pattern. I'm even hearing patternized thinking. Until you're ready to release this, and it's not just about releasing the behavior, it's also like where your brain is going, what you're allowing yourself to think about, all of that stuff, until you've like truly moved on from this, released what you need to release. Even like a curiosity about this person and what's going on. It's like if this is something that you're thinking about habitually, it's still something that, again, is going to like weigh you down energetically. Once this release happens, something that you want comes to fruition with the 9 of Cups. And it looks like somebody coming through to like talk to you. And I'm seeing like if feelings be involved, this is at least something sentimental at the very least. But yeah, I'm seeing like some sort of block, so this can't happen. It's like one thing has to happen in order for another thing to happen. But yeah, for some of you, you're like, why let go of the past person when I don't know who's going to be coming in the future? Or like maybe because you, for some of you, you may be under the impression that like you can't do better than a past person, so this is why you're holding on to it. Yeah, I'm seeing something that deeply psychologically affects you, but it's about making the decision, making a conscious decision to release something that needs to be released, and to actually prioritize yourself and to call your power and your energy back to you rather than fixating or being concerned with anybody outside of yourself. Because that's really what's delaying things for you. It's one of those ironic moments because when you get to the place where you're like, I don't need anybody, but if somebody comes into my life, I'm open to it. Like, you're not going around being like, oh, maybe it's this person, maybe it's that person. It's like, you're not obsessed with that anymore. You're not transfixed by that anymore. You're just cool with things being how they are. So it's like when you've done the work, you get to that place. But until you get to that point, you're constantly on the lookout for like the one, or whatever you perceive, whatever you fantasize that to be, whatever you're romanticizing. However, when you're in that space, there's a sense of like never actually feeling complete, like no matter who you come across, because you haven't done that work internally. And that's why the shadow work and the personal work is so important.